Hello everyone and welcome back to another new album video. We're now on week 23 and this week we're taking a look at the mix-up by the Beastie Boys. First released June 26, 2007. Some notable tracks off this album include 14th Street Break, The Gala Event, Freaky Hajiki, and The Kangaroo Rat. Interesting thing with this album is it's an entirely instrumental album. I had not listened to this one up to this point and was just going through and be like, hey, I've never listened to the mix-up. I was listening to some other Beastie Boys stuff, and this is an album that I had never listened to before. I ended up really liking it. Thought it had some really good, just instrumental beats going on. I've been listening to a lot of kind of like lo-fi kind of music lately, just kind of like lo-fi beats mostly. But really enjoyed it. It kind of has like a nice, like relaxed vibe to it, which I think you get that at a lot of the kind of like at a lot of like the lo-fi like playlists you see on like Apple Music or Spotify, or even some of the lo-fi playlists you see on like even on YouTube. Has a lot of good instrumentalization. We have some notes here about it. We're going to go through this, and then we'll get to the track listing and all that. So let me just pull my notes up here. So the Mix Up by the Beastie Boys, again, like I said earlier, June 26, 2007 is when this was released. It's their 7th studio album. Cool thing with it, it's basically entirely instrumental. There was an email that apparently, let me actually pull this up, that went out announcing that it was an all instrumental album. So on May 1st, 2007, they sent an email to their mailing list, which was revealing that the album was just all instrumental. And here's the excerpt from that email. It says, okay, here's our blurb about our new album. It spits hot fire, hot shit. It's official. It's named The Mix-Up. Go on. All instrumental records. See, I knew they were gonna do that. That's a quote from you. Check the track listing and cover below. You love us, don't you? That was kind of just like how they introduced the album that would be coming out. Like it was June 1st. So basically 2 months later, essentially close to 2 months later, the album was put out. What else we got here in our notes here? I have some cool quotes from Ad Rock and Mike D I read an article about that, and that was in here. So let me just pull this up. They did an interview with the Aquarium Weekly that came out in 2008, and they were basically asked about if this album was like making a statement on like the nature of hip hop, or if hip hop has changed or anything like that. So I think the first one is what's from Ad Rock. Let me make sure actually. Yeah, so Ad Rock says our last record was an all rap record. So when we started recording the mix up, we wanted to work with some instruments, and it just sounded cool, so we kept with it. Mike D then kind of added to it. It says, we get asked, quote, what do you think of the state of hip hop today a lot? Maybe I'm being defensive, but it seems like people always look for us to come out and criticize hip hop. But hip hop is what we grew up on, and it continues to be one of the only forms of music left that strives on evolution and innovation. Yeah, we might be in a spell where we're waiting for that next record to come out and change everything, but still, that's what hip hop is, and that's what puts it in its unique place. So those were quotes from Ad Rock and Mike D, like a follow up interview about the album, saying kind of like how they ended up doing instrumental album. Like Ad Rock said, they kind of just started, jamming with instruments, and they basically just kept at it, and then probably decided to go with having the album be entirely instrumental. So some cool quotes there. Let's see, I'll skip ahead here. It ended up debuting at number 15 on the Billboard 200, so not a bad place to debut. However, it did come out to mixed reviews. Let me just pull these review scores up here. So it didn't get amazing reviews. Metacritic has it at a 61 out of 100, and that's kind of like an aggregate. But AllMusic looks like it has it at like 3.5 out of 5. AV Club gave it a B. Entertainment Weekly has it at C+. The Guardian gave it a 3 out of 5. NME gave it 4 out of 10, while Stylist Magazine has it at a B minus. Pop Matters has it at a 6 out of 10. Pitchfork giving it a 4.6 out of 10. Rolling Stone giving it 3 out of 5, and Uncut giving it a 4 out of 5. So kind of some mixed reviews. I would say it's probably like around, maybe like for me, it's like probably like a 4 out of 5, maybe like an 8 out of 10 if were to go for 10-point scale. I definitely feel you probably need to be in the right kind of, like, I don't want to say the right headspace, but you need to be basically be in the mood for an all instrumental album essentially. I think when this came out, I was talking to somebody. I was remember like just hanging out at this bar one time. This is years ago, like 2000. I want to say 2010 at the earliest. But hanging out, this guy was telling me about the Beastie Boys concert he went to, and I think it was around the time that this album came out, and it was a basically a what do we call it? Like basically like you had to wear like a nice suit to it. It was like a coat and tails. I think it was like coat and tails. Uh, thing of them, the Beastie Boys just jamming out. They were basically like very strict dress code. I don't remember where he told me what that concert was, but it was basically you if you showed up in just like regular clothes, you weren't coming in, and you had to have like a nice suit. Basically, it was like a coat and tie, coattails kind of event, which seems actually kind of cool. Like I would have liked to go to that. I would have probably had to rent a suit to do that. But basically, very strict dress code, and they just basically jammed out to this album, playing like various instruments and all that kind of stuff. That just seems really really cool. But for me, I ended up really liking the album because I remember just listening to it recently. It was like a nice sunny day. It wasn't super hot, but it was pretty warm. It was like shorts weather, and just put this in. Went to get some coffee. Had this playing on just on my earbuds, and like you don't have to follow along with lyrics or anything like that. You just kind of follow along to like the really cool beats and like grooves that they're going with. So I ended up really enjoying it, but it definitely came out to review at the time, some mixed reviews. And it ended up winning a Grammy the following year at the Grammys, or it may have been 2 years because I don't remember exactly when that Grammy, because the Grammys had like a weird cutoff. So I just remember reading that it won a Grammy for Best Pop Instrumental Album at whatever Grammys it would have been eligible for. There's some cool personnel information here. So let me just pull the personnel out because it's cool because all three of the Beastie Boys served as engineers and producers on the album, and also dealing with the art direction. So we have Ad Rock obviously being a producer and a producer and engineer. All three of them have that. But Ad Rock is working on the guitars. You had MCA doing the bass and the upright basses. Also, again, producer and art director. And then Mike D doing the drums. Some additional musicians on the album are Money Mark with the clarinet and the Rhodes like synthesizers, I think, or organs, and Alfredo Ortiz doing various other production or percussion work, not production work, percussion work. We're now going to get into the track listing here. And overall length of the album is 42 minutes, so it's like kind of not super long. But like I definitely have been liking more albums lately that they've been shorter, but they've had basically like all great songs. Like for example, not to go too off topic, but the new Billie Eilish record, I'll probably be covering that at some point on this series. But that is like a 45-minute long album, and it basically from start to finish, it's just incredible. I kind of like that. Same thing with this Beastie Boys record, where you don't have a lot of tracks that just kind of pad out the playtime. You're not It's not like an hour long, where maybe 20 minutes of those songs aren't great. So this one's a little on the shorter side, but we have here, let's see, 12 tracks or 13, depending on which version you're listening to. Anyway, track 1 is B for My Name. Track 2 is 14th Street Break. For some reason, I'm having a hard time saying 14th Street and then Break right after. But 14th Street Break is track 2. Track 3 is Suco de Tangerina. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Track 4 is The Gala Event. Track 5 is Electric Orb. Track 6 is Freaky Hajiki. Probably my favorite track on the album. I really like that one. Track 7 is Off the Grid. Track 8 is The Rat Cage. Track 9 is The Melee. Track 10 is Track 10 is dramatically different. Dramatically. That just seems like a word I've never like actually had to say. But yeah, track 10 is dramatically different. Track 11 is The Cousin of Death. Track 12 is The Kangaroo Rat. And then the iTunes version has a bonus track, which is the 13th track, which is Biscuits and Butter. There was another EP release that has some additional bonus tracks on it. So 6 additional tracks on this other album. I haven't listened to the bonus tracks yet, but I'll probably go back and listen to those at some point. But track 1 on this bonus track list is Politicin. Politicin? I don't know. It's like picnic, but I don't know how it's pronounced. Politicin, I guess. I don't know. Track 2 is Beasley is a Beast. Track 3 is LTD. Track 4 is The Panda Rat. Track 5 is The Mix-Up. And track 6 is Fibonacci Sequence. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Fibonacci Sequence. I think so. But yeah, that's the Mix-Up by the Beastie Boys. Definitely a departure for them for sure, because they had always done albums that had, very good instrumentals, very good beats, but also had, rap and hip hop lyrics on top of it. It was just really cool seeing them just go off in an all instrumental, like an album just of nothing but basically just beats and vibes. And I had a lot of fun listening to it. Like I said earlier, it kind of came out to mixed reviews. But I don't know where I rank it necessarily in their discography, but I still had a really good time listening to it. That is going to do it for this week's video. We'll be back again in a week from now with a whole new album. Don't know what that's going to be just yet. Sometimes it's kind of like up to the day. I don't even know what album it's going to be, kind of thing. But anyway, we'll be back again in a week. So remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.